But how did this all happen? Why are we a separate country? Why are we not part of the United States? Now, a lot of Canadians would be like, well, thank God we're not. And sure enough, when you do look at the United States' behavior in recent decades, you can't blame somebody for saying, thank God we're not, because...
Well, that's part of the Unfinished Symphony. So what you're saying is we didn't actually manifest what we set out to manifest. I mean, what I really liked about or one thing I liked besides all the facts that I didn't know, is that it, it restores our faith in what America was all about and what it was intended to be. And it didn't get there, but it didn't get there because it got subverted by those. As Lincoln and Henry Carey said, you've got two systems. That's what you said. In fact, the clash of two Americas. So the two Americas, do you want to define what that is? I mean, it was the British system, the imperialist influence, which was largely financial, that just kept cutting in and cutting us off and doing all those things that we've got a bad name for.
Exactly. And that's where it's an important lesson for Canadians as well as Americans to recall that the American Revolution, though it lasted for 6 years, it finally had a peace treaty in 1783 in Paris. It was never a final product. Yes, you had Ben Franklin, his loyal allies who shared a vision for creating a new type of government founded upon the consent of the governed, the general welfare, which was the foundation of the Constitution in 1787, and the principle of the inalienable rights of each individual, no regard whatsoever for hereditary class. The idea of organizing society around hereditary power structures is entirely the foundation of every type of government that had ever existed before 1776. So sometimes you could have a more benevolent king or monarch that would give of some more liberties than others to a colony or another. But the idea of conceptually was that those liberties were given by the consent of only one sovereign. There's only one sovereign being that gave or could take away, inversely, your liberties. In the United States, it was the first time a nation was organized around a different idea that everybody was sovereign, not just one, like the Canadian system. And so the entire political economy was expected to emanate that truth. So coming out of the 1783, and the picture on the book is from Benjamin West, an American painter from Philadelphia. And on it, you have the American delegation, but it's an unfinished painting. And the British refused to sit for that painting because in their minds, in the minds of people like Lord Shelburne, they didn't really truly accept the terms of conditions of the American claim for independence. The idea was always to recapture it at some future time. So they didn't show up. And so it was an unfinished painting, but I think it speaks loudly and it's very appropriate.